Good day, good evening to you all. This is a presentation on the three main types of attacks that I chose for my public service announcement assignment. The objectives are describe the three types of potential security threats to our organization, and then what are the countermeasures we can employ against these types of security threats. Okay, the first topic is going to be cyber hygiene, and I'm going to use an analogy here. So surgeons, before they go into the surgery room, they wash their hands to rid themselves from germs. And they practice this almost every time they go into the surgery room. And so when I talk about cyber hygiene, it's sort of like practicing our habits when we get on the internet. So cyber hygiene refers to regular habits and practices regarding technology we use, like avoiding unprotected Wi-Fi networks and implementing safeguards like a VPN or multi-factor authentication. And so, unfortunately, most Americans uh, do not practice cyber hygiene. They have the least amount of skill in that area. So we need to beef up our cyber hygiene and employ good habits in that area. Okay, so the next topic I'm going to talk about ransom. And for the most part, many of us have seen the iconic movie called Ransom, where Mel Gibson has a son was kidnapped, and the kidnapper holds the son for ransom for monetary values. And this is the same thing with ransomware. While ransomware by no means is a new threat, they become significantly more expensive. And so what they do is they find the vulnerable parts of our network and they attack it and hold our information, just as they hold Mel Gibson's son for ransom for money. And so if we don't pay those ransoms, we lose the threat of losing all our information and our data. So that's what ransomware is. And most of the recent attacks can occur between the average system downtime of 21 days. Ransomware. Okay, so the next one is social engineering. It's the last one. Social engineering remains one of the most dangerous hacking techniques employed by cyber criminals, largely because it relies on human error rather than technical vulnerabilities. So, like, take for instance, Bruce Lee perpetrated as a repairman, and he gained access into the communication office by using tricking the other person to thinking that he was legitimately a repairman, but he wasn't really. So that's what social engineering techniques that most hackers use, and they're very very low on the scale. But it's so easy to trick humans, and then to breach the security system with those type of methods. And according to Verizon data breach and their investigation, 85% of all breaches involve in some type of human interaction, and it doesn't have to be on physical. It can also be through the telephone or through certain text messages. So that's social engineering. So how can we mitigate these risks? Well, we can mitigate all these risks that I spoke about by installing antivirus, malware software scanning services, using firewalls to stop unauthorized users from getting information, updating webs, apps, and operating systems on all applications regularly, and keeping our hard drives clean by reformatting and wiping them occasionally, and enforcing strict password policies and multi-authentication. We can also employ backup recoveries, update patches, conduct vulnerability assessments, and close all ports to entry to our network. And we, as IT professionals, can apply the least privilege to all systems and services. We can also teach all users about phishing and avoiding opening mails from unknown users, and teach all users about malware, which can insert malicious viruses in forms of executables and links and files to infect our computer. And then again, I cannot stress more enough that we must educate employees of social engineering techniques and two-way authentication, and always trust but verify the source. And those are the things that we need to mitigate the risks on the three types of security threats that I had mentioned. If you have any questions, go ahead and shoot me an email.